Greg, Acupuncture Queenstown. Today we're going to do a lower body deep stretch, yin yoga stretch. Please don't get hung up on the concept of yin yoga. It's just a name that somebody came up with. There's many different styles of yogas and things, and most are based on a particular teacher's version of what they think is the best thing to do. So we're going to deep stretch the lower body, mostly from the waist down. There'll be a little bit for the upper body, because I always like to do a little on both ends. We'll do a full upper body one another time. So the focus here is on from the waist down, so we're getting into the hips, front of the hips, back of the hips, into the legs, even down to the calves and the feet. Okay. What you're going to need is a block, a strap or a towel, and a bolster. Okay. And your other modifications I'll do as we go along. So to start with, I'll start all my classes and all my sessions with the chest opener. We did this on the other video. This is called the 1,000-pound stretch. It'll save you £1,000 worth of treatment on your neck and shoulders if you do this every day. So you lie back on the bolster or the foam roller if you like, which you have one over here. Bolsters are softer, head's on, body's on, and arms out to the side like so. What we're looking to do is just to allow the chest to release and the arms to gently sink down towards the floor. Now whilst you're in this position, it gives me a chance to explain how these deep stretch classes are meant to go. What we're aiming to do is to release tension and tightness in the muscles and the fascia and the tissue of the body. We don't want to force anything, bounce anything, or try and make ourselves get into a particular shape or a particular pose. There is no perfect pose visually because it depends on your body. If you want to look into this more, especially on the yin yoga front, if you look at, I think it's Paul Grilly, or Griley, depending on how you pronounce it. He has a great DVD, shows how old I am. It's probably on whatever platform these things are these days, on yin yoga and anatomy of yoga. It's fascinating. And explain to you how different people have different lengths of bone, different shapes of bone in the hip sockets, shoulder sockets, etc. Which means some people will never do lotus because the bones just simply won't go that way. Same as some people can never sit fully between their heels, the bones don't go. So it's worth remembering that. And as we lie here, we'll feel the chest gradually release. And for most of us, our arms often start here. Okay, so we want the shoulders, the elbows level with the shoulders. And then as the shoulders and the arms drop back towards the floor, the arms start to rotate back as some of the deeper muscles in the shoulders release. Okay, I won't stay here too long. I do recommend you do this every night. Invest in a bolster or a roller. It's highly worth getting. The only reason to come out of this is if your fingers get pins and needly or fizzy. Okay. What I did there was just lift up my head, and I sometimes find that gives me a bit of a crunch in those joints between the shoulder blades, which feels nice. Again, as I think I've said before, don't tell the chiropractor or the osteopath, but a little home adjustment seems to work for me. It may do nothing for you. From here, I'm going to bring the hand in. Just take a moment, then where to come off. The best way to come off is simply to roll to the side, and then you push yourself up. Next, we're going to move into child's pose. Knees wide for child's pose. This allows your belly to hang between your thighs. If you're practicing at home, no one can see your belly anyway, so you can relax. Otherwise, we tend to spend all day holding it in, trying to look like we're lean and mean and all that nonsense. So, knees wide, reach the arms forward and rest the head down. And what we get here is a mild stretch through the low back. It's a very mild forward bend and a very mild release on the thighs, the ankles and the hips. We're going to take an adjustment here. I'm going to walk the hands over to the side. Doesn't matter which side you go to. The important thing is this hand. You walk it as far forward and as far over as you need to go to feel the stretch in your low back. So here for me is my right side. So my right low back, kind of around my ribs, is feeling the stretch. It's a beautiful, easy stretch I can hang out in for a while. I can either put this hand on top, or I can bring it back here, which allows me a slight rotation ability if that feels better. The plan is to find the pose, okay, find the stretch for you. Some of these won't suit everybody. If your knees and things don't work so well in these positions, we'll have to miss it out. I want you to think of the stretches as though you were peeling the label off a bottle of beer, or a bottle of jam or honey or something like that, one of those glass jars. And what you'll find, if you grab the corner and just peel the corner up on that label and yank it, you'll tend to tear the paper label. But if you peel a little bit and wait, the glue seems to settle, it seems to release. Once released, you can peel it a little bit more. You wait, it releases, you go a little bit more. So if you're patient, you'll find that you can take the whole label off the beer, or the honey, or the jam. And with your muscles here, you're looking for them to release, and then again you follow when they let go, so we don't tear anything. I'm going to come back to the center here. We swap sides. This is my tighter side traditionally. So when you find that initial stretch, stop. Pause. If it's really intense, back off a little. Just move yourself back a bit so it's not as intense, and wait. Take a breath or two here. On average, it takes about 10 to 20 seconds for the muscles to let go. Once you feel they've let go, you reapproach that point of tightness, and you should find it's gone. It's moved forward a little, maybe a millimetre or two, sometimes bigger. It depends on how your body's feeling. You find that new point of tightness, you wait, maybe back off a little. Breathe. You're allowing the tissue to let go. So the body will tell you, the tissue will tell you when you can move to the next stage or the next point, what we call the edge. If you sit at the edge and push and grit your teeth and try and force it, it may work, or you may end up tearing something or hurting something, and it makes it less fun. And if it's less fun, you're less likely to do it. I'm going to come back to the center. We'll walk ourselves in. So we've released the sides here a little. I'm going to take a little bit of work on the front of the hip. So we'll take a big step forward with the right leg. Getting my body up, pretty much straight up here. I'm going to tuck my tailbone under, so bum sticking out. Belly sticking out. I want to pull the belly in and tuck the bum under. As I do this, I get a pull to the front of the hip. Towards your psoas. We call it our iliopsoas normally. It's your psoas major and iliacus, to be technical. I'm going to reach this arm up, the arm on the same side. So you lose the tuck, you lose the stretch. So keep that tuck. And we're going to slightly lean to the side, so leaning away and slightly backwards. Okay. So from the front, it's going to look like this. It's a little back and a little sideways. If you're real tight, you can always use a chair or something here to give you a bit of extra support. Some people like the block here, so you just get a little bit of a lean. And again, we're looking to nudge, just a steady nudge. You can lunge if that feels helpful. If you lunge too far, you tend to arch the back. And then you tend to lose that stretch. in the same way, but play with it again. You're looking to find what works for you. Then we'll drop this down and we'll swap sides. I'll just spin. So same the other side. Again, belly out, belly in, bum under. The more we can tuck this up, the more stretch we feel here. Little lunge forward, tiny. Arm goes up, a little lean to the side, slightly backwards. This hand's here for balance, or maybe on the wall. And again, we breathe, it's time. Now, usually when I teach these classes, the hour seems to fly by. And you're welcome to pause this. You're welcome to pause, stay there as long as you like, start again. There's particular bits you're tight on, spend more time. If you're tight on one side versus the other side, more time on the tight side. It's time rather than force. We won't get into the technicalities of why some muscles are tighter than others, and sometimes that is to do with strength, imbalances of strength. So certain muscles are working too hard to compensate. For this class, it's all about the stretching. And then we'll release and come back. Now I'll take one of my favourite poses, it's called a drop down cobra. It's called drop downs because we come from the top downwards as opposed to from the floor up. What we're going to do is put the hands here. I recommend, rather than having the hands forward, which tends to stress the wrists, cause some pain here for a lot of people, we'll turn the hands out to the side. The elbows stay straight, and I drop my hips towards the floor. So it looks like a cobra because I'm at the top. But the important thing here is I'm sagging my back. Classical cobra will use some back muscles to lift us. Here we're going to just drop. And again, let your belly hang. No one can see you. You could have had 17 donuts. Or mines. Just let it hang here. So we're getting a mild stretch on the stomach. More importantly in this position is a bend back of the spine. Now again, if your back doesn't like this, miss it out. What I'm looking to do is relax the muscles of the back. So the joints of the spine will sag and bend backwards, which will counteract the hunching that we all do in our car seats, computer chairs, sofas, on our phones, etc. Notice here how my shoulders are around my ears. To increase the stretch on the stomach, I'm going to pull the shoulders down. So pull the shoulder blades down towards my hips. My shoulders come down, my chest lifts. I'm dragging my chest, my rib cage away from my knees. This will increase the stretch in the stomach. You should feel that, I hope. Now we're not going to stay here too long. We're going to come back into our child's pose. Now if you find you come back into child's pose, your back's just going, ah! Then maybe it's too strong. So just miss that one out, and we can modify. If your back's okay, we come back into a child's pose. And this gives us a mild lengthening of the back, stretching it the other way. We'll come back into our pose. And drop down cobra. Have some modifications this time. So have the knees a bit wider. Again, drop the hips forward. Notice shoulders go around the ears. This time pull the shoulders down. Feel like you're dragging your chest. You're pulling the chest forward and up so the stomach gets the stretch. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend up this leg. Okay, so in my case, the left leg. I'm going to bend this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that left hip down a little bit towards the mat here. And I'm going to turn and look over my right shoulder. As I do that, I again use the hands to pull. I'm pulling myself away, my chest away from my left knee, putting it forward, up, and a tiny twist. This will increase the stretch on the front of my left hip. Again, my hip flexor here, the iliopsoas region. And then we'll come back. Again, we'll take a little rest in our child's pose. called a counter pose. It resets everything, bends it the other way, but also gives us a chance to check in and see, was it good, was it not good? Remember as well, often you may not be warm when you come into this. Come here straight from a bike ride or a run, then you rock and roll. If you're a little bit colder, just go easier. And I'd wear warmer clothes than I'm wearing them. Wearing my shorts and vest so you can see what's happening. Same thing, I drop forward. Shoulders go around the ears, I pull them down, pull the chest forward. I bend the other leg, the right one. Drop the right hip down a little, pulling my chest forward and up. Look a little over the shoulder, not a big twist. Now this side's looser for me. I don't feel it as strongly. But if I suck my belly in here and really consciously pull the ribcage away and up, you'll be surprised how far up into your abdomen that iliopsoas stuff feels. That's because the iliopsoas, particularly the psoas major, goes from the top of your thigh up through the underneath all your internal organs and attaches onto the inside of all your lumbar vertebrae, the 5 lumbar vertebrae. Which is why, if it's tight, particularly more tight on one side, it will pull your lower back forward and create a twist. So pop that one down, lift the chest one last time, and then I'm going to drop back into my child's pose. Then we'll come up. I'm going to take a little twist. So we'll lie down the back. As I lie down, I'm going to hug my right knee in to my chest. So just take it with me. Just take it all wee journey and bring it with me. And just hug it in here. Now you can spend a while here squeezing things in. This will give you a pull on the low back if your back's tight. What we're going to do today though is we're going to take a twist. I'm just going to place the hand on the outside of the knee and roll that knee. If I can, I'm going to tuck the toes on my right foot just under my left thigh or under the knee and roll that leg over. This gives us a twisting stretch on the low back. You can then turn the head to the right and reach the right arm away here. Sometimes you'll get a click and a clunk here. Again, don't tell the chiropractor or the osteopath. Now here's the thing, if you ever have been treated by one of the adjustment type practitioners, notice they lie on your side and they jump on you. What that does, it gives an extra little push and the joints will go clunk, which is all good and groovy. It will loosen things up. What we do for our own stretch here, the higher my knee is, the further up my low back the twist will go. Okay, the further down the knee is, the lower down. So if I feel like I'm tight right on the base of my spine, I can just almost have my ankles together and have my knees almost together here, and I roll and take a little forcible twist and I go, ooh, that feels interesting. Or I bring it part way up, different levels. Again, the professionals will adjust you particularly here, and then they're very specific in how they do that. Okay, we come back slowly to the center. And then we swap sides. So having the left knee in, squeeze it in. This also gives your abdomen a little bit of a squeeze actually. Same thing, hand goes on the outside, the toes. Tuck in behind the knee or under the thigh here, somewhere here. And we roll. I'm not recommending you go for the click or try and force anything. I'm just saying it might happen. Again, you can take the leg down, see how that goes. Changes the force here. Bring it up, changes it a bit further up the spine. What does some in the middle for a general release? What I usually do here is extend this arm out, I turn the head this way, and I can then do a little bit of extra chest stuff, even though we're doing lower body. I can add in some chest. What I'm doing here is what's called the clock stretch. You just take the hand down like the arm of a clock. There's not much down here usually not much. Then you feel the chest here. And I aim to keep my fingernails pretty close to the floor. And for me, the best stretch is usually about there. So it's not straight out to the side, it's usually this kind of 45-degree angle, I guess, here. Again, we're not going to focus on that, we'll come back to that in upper body day. But as we were doing that, this was all getting a nice wee stretch. We'll come back. We'll reposition. What I suggest you do here is just lift your hips up and pop them down. That just engages the muscles of the back and the bum. And the hips just resets them in case they got a little bit freaked out by what you were doing. Another thing you can do is just hug both knees in and just take a little squeeze or a little rock. Just always checking. I'm old and I have a lot of injuries, so every now and then you'll notice I'll check stuff and I won't push things too far. Now, another twist whilst we're in a twisting mood. I'm going to cross my left leg over my right leg here. It's like I was lying on the beach reading a book or something. I'm going to drop my knees towards you. So as the left leg is on top, but I'm going to drop the knees to the left. Okay. Now, a lot of people will teach this the other way, which I think is not as effective. What this does is because this leg is on top of the thigh here, I get a stretch on the ITB, which if you're a runner, you'll be familiar with it getting very tight. The ITB is technically a iliotibial band. It's a tendon. It attaches your TFL here, tensor fascial lata muscle in your glutes, down to the outside of your knee. So, it crosses over the knee actually. To stretch this is really hard. So this, by having the leg on top, gives me a chance to stretch this in this twist. And again, I change the angle of my knees. If I take my knees further down, I feel it differently to up here. So personally today, I feel it about there. And each day will be different. Depends what you did. Again, I can reach this arm out, but I'm not too worried about the twist here. It's more about this. I'm playing with it, I'm feeling it. And if you think of these classes, these stretches as a chance to play, a chance to release, something to look forward to, then you're going to do it. If it's something you feel you have to do, your mind will find a way not to do it. Come back, what I suggest you do is drop this leg off first. Okay, it's just much easier, less pressure on your back for that sudden twist. You come back, check everything feels groovy, readjust. I'm just moving across so you can hopefully see. Same thing, across the right leg over the left, so the knees are squished together. Just drop the legs this way. Again, I can drop over this high if I want to. That tends to be, again, more of a back twist. So for this side of the hip that I want, I'm going to drop it here. And once I'm over, then I just adjust a little. I think knees down, knees up, and I'm looking. I'm looking. So in my opinion, this is where the yoga is at. It's in these stretches, probably more than the strength work. We'll cover some of that another time. You've got time to find it. If you're rushing through the poses and some of the faster styles, which is fun and it's cool and it's one way of doing things, but personally I think if you have more time, you feel what's happening. There it is. I find it, I can feel that just there. And it pulls down through that ITB. So it took me a while to find it, and now I want to wait and release. Do then is you breathe deep and slow. For most of us, the out breath, the body relaxes. You sigh, let it go. There are some advanced techniques we might come to again in another class in how to work a little bit more on that flexibility if that's where we want to go. And this is our release. Come back again, I'm going to drop the knee off. I'm going to come back slowly. Be respectful of what's happening with your back. A lot of back injuries these days. A lot of that is all that time sitting. Sitting's the new smoking, by the way. It's so bad for it. So, we hug in, maybe a little rock. Check how we feel. I'm going to rock up to sitting here. Now if I just hold the back of the knees and rock, doesn't look like much. Rather than it's fun, you can pretend that you're 5 years old again. But actually you're massaging your back. You're massaging the joints and the muscles. We sit up. We're going to move into the quads here. Okay. Done the front of the hip, we've done the stomach, done with the side of the waist here. Let's hit some quads. So I'm going to bend the leg up and give you some options on this. This is my preferred option, if you can. Now, I want to bring this heel in right next to my bum. Okay, we're doing one leg at a time. Now, some ankles don't do this. I mentioned before about anatomy. If your ankle's like this, it's just one of those ankles. You can put your foot out to the side, that's okay. And the important thing here is you're not hurting your knee. It's not a joint stretch, it's a muscle stretch. I like my foot here, whichever works for you. And we lean back on the hands. Now if you're real tight, you're going to get to about here and go, ugh. Or actually in a lot of cases your foot's going to be here. I'll come to that suggestion in a second. If you can do this, you're going to go here. If that feels comfy, you can come down onto your elbows. Okay. If that feels like it's not enough stretch, you can come down to your shoulders. If that's not enough stretch, the next level is to bend this leg up. If that's not enough stretch, you reach up, take hold of this knee and hug it in towards you. If that's not enough stretch, you take this arm up, so in this case the left arm, and you reach it over and across. If that's not enough stretch, then you can probably finish and have a cup of tea because you're done. So for most of us, it's going to be about here. This is about average. Okay. What you do is set the bolster as well. This is another option. This is a really nice relaxed one. Again, if you've got more time, this is more of a classic yin yoga way to do this. When you get into this position, put the bolster here, roughly in that kind of, not so much the low back, more the mid back. We lean back. We just hang out and this supports us and we can just chill because we need the muscles to feel safe and to let go. So whichever version of those suits you, okay? For those who find that whole process, if you're comfortable, stay there by the way, stay where you are. For those who don't find that works for them, you can lie on your side, what we call the Roman position. You rest your head in your hand, you lie on your side. Imagine someone's feeding you grapes, like they do in the movies. You're going to bend up the top leg, take hold of the foot, and squeeze the heel in towards the bottom. Okay. And if you can't do this, then put that in the comments, and I will give you some other more specific suggestions. Again, what we're looking for is a stretch along the quad. So whichever version suits you. And remembering it might take a few months in the modified positions, and then one day you go, oh, I can do that now, as things loosen. So then we'll swap sides. So come out of it gently. Now, if you're in the lying down version, simply roll over to the other side. If you're lying back over your bolster, on your elbows, your forearms, or whatever, what I suggest you do is you roll to the side, the straight leg side. You roll this way, and the leg pops out, and you come back. Okay? Rock yourself up, and we swap sides. The same thing the other side. Find your ankle position. Remember, the heel's not under the bum, it's next to the bum. So you're reasonably square in the hips here. You lean back to your degree. You might start here for a few breaths. And again, as before, as it releases, you might go, oh, I can go here. If you're lying down, just the other side, if you're on the side version. You can have the bolster or not. then we'll come out of this one. Again, roll into the straight leg. If you're just doing the lying on your side version, just let go and come up. Let's just come here, allow the leg to pop out. Check it's happy. Slowly sit up. Check everything is groovy. Then we'll take our wide-legged forward bend. So we come up, the legs go wide. Whatever level works for you, okay? What we can do here is also take the block. So if your legs are about here, just bend forward. You can take the block here, you can rest your head maybe on the block. Maybe do this, give you more height, okay, depending on your flexibility here. If you're real tight and you're nowhere near this, and your legs are here and you're scrabbling like a cat on a post to stay up, just put your hands behind you, okay? So from the side that will look like this. And you just push yourself forward, okay? Because you're here, you push forward to feel the inner thigh stretching. Once you go past this vertical point, once you're past here, then you can let gravity help you, makes it easier, and you can bend forward. You can take your strap if you happen to have a leg of a sofa or something nearby, and you can loop that around the sofa and pull yourself forward a little. Or do it with your partner, that's cool. Partners, friends, whatever's knocking around. Then you can grab hands here, feet braced against each other, and gently pull. One person goes the other. It's a partner thing, which again we may come to another time. If you're more flexible here, you're going to go wider with the legs. And you bend forwards. What I like to do here is put my head on the block. So for me that's not super intense, but it's enough at the beginning. As I feel things have loosened, I'll readjust, I might wriggle. Feel free to wriggle. But oppose, the direct translation of asana is seat, technically, which means you settle into your seat like settling into an armchair. Okay, you don't sit there first time. Take a little bit of time to wriggle in. So now I can change the block to a slightly less or lower height. Then I can rest here. So what we'll do is we'll just come up here. I'll give you this option. If you're loving that, just stay there. That's fine. Over time, you just get closer and closer to the floor here. Well, also again, the back is restricting some of this. So we'll take another side bend. We did the child's pose version earlier with the hands over to one side. This is similar. You rest the elbow on the knee, the head on the hand. And you can take this arm over. So if I mirror you, okay, this will be me bending to my right or to your right. Okay. This hand comes over. Now you may or may not ever touch the toes, they're somewhere over here. It doesn't matter, you might be up here. What we want is this stretch through here. Again, we want to find the position. So you might want to turn your chest up a bit, down a bit. Personally, about there feels good for me. You might feel happier here. If that's enough, stay here and breathe. If you're more flexible, we might go for the shoulder to the knee. Maybe reach out to the full fancy yoga version. You hook the big toe with your thumb here. You hold the outside of the foot and you do this. And again, you can turn and play. And none of the fancy versions are really my thing. Remember, the yoga police don't know we're here. They don't know what you're doing at home, so Just don't get too wrapped up on that stuff. I study many different styles, different teachers. I'm going to come up out of this, so just come up slow. Again, I'm trying to add a lot into one class, so feel free to stop, spend more time in certain bits. But if you find particular stretches and you go, oh, that's cool, then just play with that. You know, stop everything, play. Same thing on this side. Elbow goes in the knee, head goes in the hand. Again, I'm mirroring you, so this would be my right arm coming over, bending to my left, and to your left. One side is nearly always tighter than the other. Nobody is perfectly balanced. And if that's enough, stay here, play with it, play with those angles, or shoulder to knee, reach out. What you'll find is every style and different masters and so on will say this is the only way, this is the way, this pose is done, or stuff. It's all tosh. The way the pose is done, as long as you get the basic concept right, is where you feel it. So if I look like this in this pose, and you look like this, that's okay. Just means you're tighter. It's cool. We're going to come out of this. Now here's the fun bit, hopefully. As we come up, we're going to bend forward again. And what we should find is now the back is looser. We go a bit further forward more easily. So now it's easy for me to put this on its lowest edge. I might even be able to go right down here. Whee! Bad for an old fella, but you may be a different level, but as you should find it's less height because it's loosened up. Come out of this again. So remember, your goal is not to get anywhere. Okay, the goal is not to get your head to the floor. The goal is to release the tightness here and through here. And then you one day notice, oh, I got to the floor. Does that make sense? It's an important difference. Pop your hands under your knees to come out of this, because this will pull through here. Adductor muscles is what we're working here. Come across here. So just pop that hands under here. We just get that little shake. Bring the legs in. Check again, everything feels okay. What I do here is take an inclined plane. So the hands go behind, point the toes, and we lift the hips up, roll the shoulder blades together. So we're counterposing that forward bend with a mild back bend. You can also do this with the knees bent up here. Okay. So far we've worked our low back, abs, the front of the hips, the side of the hip here, into the thigh, the quads, just on the inner thigh. Let's get into our bum, or our bunda, as they tell me in Brazilian. Not Brazilian. The Brazilians tell me in Portuguese. That was a big mistake. Anyway, in Portuguese, apparently that's a rude way of saying bottom. I don't know. I'm not sure what the nice word is. Derrière in French, and then I'm out of languages, I'm afraid. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross one ankle over the other knee. Okay. Then you can reach through and either grab the front of this knee to my preferred position, or you can hold the back of the knee. If you're real tight, again, you can put the strap through here and hold the strap. Then you're going to pop the head down and pull the ankle towards you. So just putting that knee towards you, the ankle comes in. We get this big stretch here into our bum, our bunda, our derriere over here. Okay. If you find your head's off the floor, which is actually surprisingly common, because again, due to tightness, you find that you're here and you're kind of, your head's doing this, you go, block, under noggin, continue. we'll swap sides. So just release. Ankle goes off the knee. And we swap other side. Now I'm going to turn around. Hopefully you can see me this way. Give you a couple of other options. So crossing the leg over, swapping sides, getting the front of the knee or behind the knee, stretching into the, again, slightly into the outer thigh here, the ITB, and into your bum, all right, into your hips. So here's some options if you want to change this stretch, make it a little different, more intense, maybe just find a better position. Number one is you can take this elbow here, okay, the elbow on the same side of the knee, and you can just use that to just nudge the knees. You push the knee out to the side more. And some of us find that a better stretch, some prefer the knee in. So knees in, knee out. The other thing I like to do here sometimes is just roll to the side of the knee I'm holding. Okay, so in this case rolling this way, just a little. And that seems to change how the stretch feels. Here's another option for those who are really tight, or if your arms are getting tired. If you have a wall like we have here, you can pop your foot on the wall, pop the ankle here, and then sit back or lie back. Similar stretch without the pulling. Okay, I can use my toes to push in a little bit if I want to. I can also just push a little on here. Again, real gentle here. Be careful of knees. Knees don't like too much twisting and freaking out. This is why I say the pose, the end result of the pose, is not what we're after. Because I've done this. I've tried to get my ankles up here for lotus and all that stuff, thinking that's what you're meant to do. Turns out to be nonsense. I just ripped the cartilage and the meniscus in my knee, both sides. Be careful, by the way, following lots of other people on YouTube. There's some fantastic people on YouTube, some very gorgeous people on YouTube. Sorry, I'm not maybe quite as gorgeous as some, but be careful to follow the dancers and those with a gymnastic and dancing history. What they can do with their bodies is astounding, especially when they're young. But the rest of us, if we try and follow the physical position they're in, we can injure ourselves a lot. So it's great, follow them if they're great teachers, whatever, fantastic. But just be aware of the differences in body type and history. Okay? If you're over 50 like me with a lot of old injuries, following the 20-year-old dancers will probably get you damaged. So, come out any way you like. I just like that because it's fun. So, you stretch that bum, outer thighs, inner thighs, quads. We come to the hamstrings. This is always the big daddy. Everyone wants to stretch their hamstrings. And we're coming. We're getting there. Okay? What we're going to do is move into our calves. The lower leg. The poor old calves take a lot of work and everyone seems to forget about them. So, here are our options. The all-time classic. Set the hands on the wall here. One foot in, one leg back. Heel is down, leg is straight, and you bend the front knee. Personally, I don't find this as effective as it's meant to be. There's the option to bend the knee here. Again, I tend to find that doesn't work for me. There's two muscles in the calf. So we'll just, the standing stretches with the leg straight will tend to work this bit here. Okay, this is the fat boy here, this is the gastrocnemius. And underneath this is the soleus, it's a flatter muscle. That one only stretches when the knee is bent. So for all the straight leg, I'm going to work the top. The option I'm going to give you is my personal favourite. Is you need to find a wall, preferably one not as close to a wall like this, but that's just so you can see. You bend the supporting leg, put the other foot in real close. You want to get that heel as close to the bottom of the wall as you can. Okay, if you're out here, nothing's going to happen. Get it in as close as you can, and you ground that heel down, you kind of plonk it onto the ground, and then you push your body up and in towards the wall. The leg is straight, so again we're stretching this gastrocnemius here, the big bit. So my head's going to be out of the picture. I'm down here. I'm standing up, so I'm still here. Haven't gone anywhere. It's going to be this bigger muscle, okay? And I'm leaning in towards the wall. There's a great stretch you can do on the stairs, waiting for the bus, waiting for the jug or the kettle to boil. And the thing about calves is they tend not to get stretched or stretch very quickly. They support us all day as we walk around, and we somehow think they're going to be okay. The other thing is, because of how much work they do, they're really tough. So they take a lot of time to stretch. So I recommend when you're stretching your calves, you want 1, 2, maybe 3 minutes at least per stretch. They take ages. Again, we may not have time to do all of that today. Again, if you're a runner particularly, if you know you've got tight calves, patience and a lot of time. It's what I call one of my TV stretches. I'm going to release this leg. We'll swap sides. I'll use the block. This may or may not work. Just again so you can see from the side what's happening. I'm going to bend the supporting leg, put this heel in real close to a block or a wall. The wall is better, and then I come forward. I get more stretch here because my toes go over the top. This is why the wall is better. Remembering that the fascia runs all the way from the sole of your foot here, over the heel and all up through the calf. The big calf muscle, the gastrocnemius, joins into the soleus, and they join into the Achilles and comes through. There's also a wee little muscle in here called your tibialis posterior, which is famous for causing issues in your Achilles. Okay, so we stretch them as a group. We'll do the soleus in a minute. With my toes in the block here, it gives me a little bit more. I can go further forward. Once I pull those toes up, I'd feel the stretch more strongly. Again, I'm doing it as a standing version. Just I'll come out of camera shot now. What I call a TV stretch is a stretch you can do in front of the TV. I don't believe you have to get all your yoga gear on and the incense and the orange robes and the little cymbally bells and stuff and make it this super dramatic thing you do. Just use stretches waiting for dinner to cook in front of the TV. You line yourself upright, you can watch, watch all the way through to the next advert break or something. And you get a long time stretching and you're still watching your TV or playing on your phone or reading a book or chat to your partner, whatever. That means you're being more efficient with your time. So again, we're going to come out of this one. We would normally spend a bit more time. I want to get into the hamstrings, the big daddies. You do one other thing for your calves here. This is for that lower calf. Go down through here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kneel on one knee, on the other heel, level with that knee pretty much. It's about a fist distance away. Okay. I push this heel down and deliberately push that down. I put my hand on my knee and I keep the heel down as best I can. Both hands on the knee, and I'm going to push that knee forward. What I should get here is this stretch way lower down. This is what I call one of the muscles of the lost world. Okay, the forgotten muscles. Everyone stretches the big boy up here, the gastrocnemius, the sexy one, but they forget this bottom one, the soleus. Okay, technically it's underneath here as well, but it kind of comes through there. So this stretch. I'm just being really aware of the time. So I'm not going to stay here too long. I'm just going to swap the other side so you get a feel for how that goes. Same thing. If your heel comes up, you'll lose the stretch. Okay. Heel down, push the heel down, and then push the knee forward. If I bend my body forward here, I lose it as well. So I want to keep my body up, push everything this way. I might have to do a whole video just on pure legs, especially for runners. We haven't even got to the front of the shin. There's so much to do, people. So again, we're going to come out extra early on this one. All right. We'll take our strap. We'll get our hamstrings done. And again, you can always pause things, allow more time. We'll take our strap. This is the Big Daddy. It's the all-time most famous stretch we can do. It's put the strap around the foot. We take hold of the strap. We lie down. What I suggest you do is keep this knee bent and extend this leg up. It hasn't got to be straight. You'll still stretch the hamstring if the leg is not fully straight. If it starts to shake and does this, too far, back off a little. Many options on how you hold the strap. Personally, I usually like to wrap it around my hand at least once. Then it stays there without me having to grip and get too tight. You can use a towel. If you haven't got a strap, a towel works. Sometimes the towel's more comfy actually. Some people like to hold the strap in one hand. Get a grip here. Whatever works for you. With this knee bent, this keeps my back flat. It's the comfiest, safest version. And again, I'm looking to gradually bring this leg to me. On a slightly stronger stretch, I can straighten out the other leg. What it does, it changes my hip position, tilts my hips the other way, which creates a slightly stronger stretch on the hamstring. If you're super bendy, you can reach up, take hold of the foot. You can also play with your foot position a little bit here. I can point the toes. I can pull the toes towards me, which will add a slight calf stretch, and I'll tend to feel that a bit more behind the knee. I can slightly drop my big toe down so my pinky toe goes up the other way. I can even turn my foot, my whole leg in, so the foot rolls in towards the camera here, or rolls the other way so the heel turns towards the camera. It will all change the position. When I do a more specific all leg stretch, I'll give you some other variation. And to swap this one, just open the strap out, the other leg comes up, and just swap the feet, plonk. Make sure it's comfy. Again, I would start with this knee bent, the other knee bent. Pick your position here, one hand, two hands, maybe one hand with a wrap. Toes down, toes up, play. And we're looking to find our pose. Maybe straighten out the other leg, maybe not. Then we can come out of this side, take the strap off, place it somewhere out of the way. Again, we can hug the knees in. What I recommend you do here is just extend your legs out. lie flat on your back and relax. Come into the breath and just absorb that practice. You can stay here as long as you like. The video will pause itself. Otherwise you could always come up, take a seated few minutes of meditation or breathing. Always get up and run off if you have to do something important. My name's Greg, Acupuncture Queenstown. If you need any more information, you can go to my website, acupuncturequeenstown.com. Leave some comments below. Please like and subscribe. My kids tell me that's really important. I can't remember why, but apparently it's important. Otherwise, have a great time, and I will see you next time. Thank you.